The days had passed, the workload increased, and Duncan's absence was felt. "I hope the new engine comes soon," groaned Sir Handel. "We've all had to do Duncan's work as well as our own." Peter, Sam, Skarloey and Rheneas, who were the most resistant of the narrow gauge engines, had to agree that the extra work was a bit much. Just then, Edward shunted a flat truck with a small blue engine on it. "This is Richard. He is the newest addition to our railway," announced the thin controller proudly. Richard was soon brought the narrow gauge rails, his driver and fireman lit his fire, and he sizzled happily. Edward blew his whistle and puffed away. Skarloey was the first to speak. "Welcome to the Skarloey Railway," greeted Skarloey. "I trust your trip went smoothly." Richard smiled warmly. "Why, yes, it was a bit bumpy on the ship, but a smooth trip overall." The thin controller walked over to Richard. "I'm afraid you will have to set to work straight away. Our number 6 engine Duncan is away for repairs this morning. You will assist Rusty and Mr. Hull with track maintenance." Richard was pleased. "Oh, yes, sir. Happy to help, sir." Rusty and Richard became fast friends. The two engines rumbled deeply along the line. "There is a section of broken track just beyond the station near the waterfall," said Mr. Hughes sternly. "We must close the line immediately." And so Rusty and Richard proceeded with caution to the bad section of line. The men set to work with the repairs. It was a long job. This gave the two engines a chance to have a good conversation. "What did you do on your old line?" asked Rusty. "I mostly took passengers. We only had a small railway. It didn't run for very long. It'll be nice to get the chance to stretch my wheels," replied Richard. Early the next morning there was heavy fog. The engine's crews were warned to go carefully. Some of the level crossings on the Skarloey Railway don't have any gates or signals, so engines have to blow their whistles as they are approaching to warn cars, lorries or buses. It is the only safe thing to do in this situation. Richard had to take Duncan's usual 9 AM train. The fog was still heavy, so he puffed carefully along the line, even though he found it hard to see it. It was all the more reason to be absolutely vigilant. A level crossing lay ahead. A black car drove slowly up to the crossing. Richard's driver pulled the whistle chain, letting out a loud peep, given the heavy fog. Richard was going slower than usual. The driver of the car grew impatient. "It will take forever that steamer to cross. I shall just go on anyway." So the driver put the car in gear, but just the car's first wheels made contact with the rails, Richard clipped the car, pushing it a few yards up the line. The driver quickly shut off steam. Richard wasn't going very fast, so no one was hurt. The car was only slightly dented. "You clumsy great engine!" yelled the man. "My car is dented!" The driver and fireman argued with the man until the police arrived. Richard puffed slowly but worriedly away. When he arrived at the bottom station, a thin controller was standing on the platform. I'm sorry, sir. It wasn't my fault," stammered Richard. It wasn't your fault, Richard. It was the car driver by attempting to go over a crossing. When a train is approaching, it is against the law. The man is being questioned by the police and the railway has not been charged with the damage to the car. Richard felt much better as he puffed away with the feeling that his first week on the Skarloey Railway was going to be rather eventful indeed.